Summer Chord just released on the TW and KR servers, so you already know what time it is. We're going to be testing out the character and really just giving her the best shot that we can give her. Now, this is going to be my first time ever using the unit, so I'm going to do it in the training zone, and yes, we ended up pulling her last night. Though the 5-star weapon is going to have to wait a little bit because someone decided to interrupt it, obviously we're going to get her weapon and we're going to test her out to her full capabilities, so look forward to that video as well. If you guys like videos like these, be sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we're gonna get straight into it. Something I also wanted to say before we got into actually testing out this character, we're gonna be building her on stream today, later around like 1 o'clock EST, 1 p.m. EST. So if you guys really want to see that, be sure to stop on by, as well as we're going to be trying to go ahead and do the comparisons for her 4-star and her 5-star later down the road. So look forward to that as well. But let's get back to the video. Alright, so I got kind of lost exactly where the training thing was at first here, because it seems like they moved the menu around, but we're going to go ahead and use the one inside the summoning area where you can use the training. I think it's still the same thing if I'm right, but this one's kind of interesting because I do know what the character Simi does do, I just don't know the rotation first. So we're going to do this as if we are just following their kind of commands on this one, and then we'll see if it actually was the right rotation later down the line. Though I do know a little bit of what her skills can do, so we're gonna have to go ahead and give this a little bit of a try here. But essentially for Summer Chord, everyone cannot use their highlights. The only one who's able to utilize their highlights is her, and she's able to forcibly make others use their highlights as well. So kind of interesting to see how this is gonna go and see how this is gonna be here. But we're gonna make sure our attack is looking good. We should have gotten that from our Morgana, if I'm correct here, because if I remember right, Morgana is going to help us out with increasing a little bit of that as well. So we look at our damage and see what we got here. We did get a permanent increase of our attack, which is always great. Alongside that, we should have gotten a little bit more Windsworn stacks on the enemy, which is what we saw pop on up here as well. So that's always good. But for us, we're gonna go ahead and go to our Vishnu, because if I'm doing this correctly, I do want to use the what's called Magarudyne, making sure we're able to get off the wind sweep here, which obviously should last for 2 whole turns, if I'm right, because I think that was my Magarudyne move as well. Yeah, which should last if we procced it, but unfortunately I don't think we got our windswept. Seems like it only procced on the outer 2, if I'm right. Yeah, which we got our windswept on them. We didn't get it on anyone else though. But for this little icon right here, this essentially forces us to use a highlight, and we can use whichever one. I'm going to go ahead and give it a try on Wonder, because I know we're not doing a DPS round yet, so I'm gonna use it on Wonder here, and we're gonna make sure we make good use of our Vishnu. Vishnu is gonna allow us to deal some extra highlight damage. That's all it is really, or extra wind damage. Technically, it would have been better to use on our winded character or our winded what's it called, enemies, but obviously I didn't do that. So I don't know how this character fully does play. Now we just forced a highlight, so if I'm imagining this correctly, we should probably follow up with skill 2. Is their skill 2 itself is not only just going to be allowing us to restore some of our highlight and being more of our battery, but at the same time it is going to give us a decent bit of damage. Now the first skill is the one that does the follow-up, but the second skill is more of that battery follow-up. As you see, we do have our highlight. At this point in time, I do think we're able just to go ahead and pop it, because it really doesn't matter when we utilize this. Though I could have swore we should have gotten this a little bit earlier, because the whole point is to be able to smack on our highlight, then get the highlight battery. But maybe the training is a little bit different on here. But I don't know if they have a A1 on their wind, so I'm gonna play this as if it's A0 and just use the skill 2 just to see what happens here. And then for our Mona, we're gonna go ahead and go in order as usual, use our skill 2 as well, which is skill 2 is obviously going to make their damage taken increase permanently as well. So I don't really have much to really talk about on this one. I think other than that, we're pretty much on the right track, but I do want to make sure we're getting a buff off, because this should be our damage phase the next round as well. So we already had that off. Now what we're gonna do, we already used our highlights, so I guess what we can formulate, or what we can do now is, because we used our skill 2 already. Would this technically... I'm so confused here, because I would think we have to go ahead, right? And we have to use our skill 3. Because we already used our skill 1, our skill 2. I know our skill 3 is the big one, because we do have, of course, a couple buffs here. Though I don't remember. It seems like we do use our skill 3. So, all right, we use our skill 3 real quick. Now, if I remember doing this right, we're supposed to use 3 stacks, but I only think we used 2. So the 2 stacks that we only had only helped out just the extra damage, but we didn't get the 3, if I remember correctly, her kit that she's supposed to have 3, because with the 3, she's then able to go ahead and obviously, what's it called? She's able to go ahead and just get extra damage off of it. So unsure if that was supposed to happen that way, but I'm gonna do this because this gives us another stack. It also allows us to get our highlight quick. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this here. We're going to use this as always, as if we're going ahead and doing this as a 3-2 motion. Mona can go ahead and use, honestly, we can just use his 3, and I'm going to use both of the stacks just to knock them. Or at least, obviously, it deals some decent damage. Boom, get the hit in which obviously does help him out quite a lot for some of the charge. We get obviously the knockdown, and then we're getting the wind multiplier, which also is dispelling their buffs as well. So, I mean, nothing too crazy. We don't have to do anything too insane. I would like to use this to get a winded off if it procs. It doesn't look like we're gonna proc it on anyone except for the one on the right. And in this round, I think the best thing to do is just trigger Mona's highlight, because then we're gonna be able to give the extra wind damage taken. So we kind of got the highlights down, at least where we need to use the highlights for this team, though I'm very unsure on how she works. So I know we don't get anything for the first skill, like we don't get a buff. So I'm thinking skill 2 is what we end up using once again, because not only are we getting our highlight energy back, but then we get an extra buff, if I remember correct. Or am I wrong about that? No, our buff actually went away. So it's even weirder. Okay, I'm gonna have to look at this character a little bit more after this. So we're gonna have this version of my first try with her, and then we're gonna have the second version of me really testing how this is gonna go, because this is confusing. This is actually confusing for once. I'm genuinely like perplexed on this, because I didn't want to look at any of her rotations or anything. I kind of want to just figure it out. And this time I'm a little bit weirded out. You know, I'm unsure. I'm unsure exactly how this does work here. So, I feel like we're not doing anything wrong, but I don't know. The efficient part of me is like, I think this might be a little bit of a weird one. So let's say we force a highlight, right? Let's force any highlight. I guess we have no choice but to force Wonder's highlight, which is fine because we're on Dionysus anyways. You would think we use skill 3, but I don't have full stacks. So do we use skill 2 again? Dude, now I gotta test. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and see if we can get this rotation down, and once we do, we're gonna come back and show you guys exactly what happens. Give me a second to figure this on out, and for my first impressions, we'll end it on out. All right, you guys, so I figured it out what was going on here, and it's just the tutorial kind of leads you in a weird way. So after I was doing this, I was doing certain things correctly, but I also was doing things wrong, because instead of immediately using my highlight gauge, I do want to or at least hoard that a little bit, because the more percentage that we do have of that said highlight gauge, the more what's it called, highlight energy spent, the more bonus Star Wish stacks we get. I think it's like after spending 100%, every 50% extra we get stacks for. So essentially what we have to do, we have to build up our gauge. So by using any moves that are obviously making the enemies weaker to this and stuff like that, we'll be able to do. But what we want to do, first round, always start with skill 1. That's always going to be the same. But on the second round, even though we have our highlight right now, you want to hoard it. You don't want to use it whatsoever. And instead of doing the 1-2 combo, you want to do 1-3 and then 2, because 3 is going to be where we get our big boy damage. That's where we're going to spend all of our Star Wishes. That's where we're going to get the extra skill damage from, and all of that stuff will slowly come together. Well, the skill 2 essentially is going to be your battery to getting your highlight quicker again. So what we want to go ahead and do, we're going to do the same setup way, and this time we're going to go ahead and swap to our Dionysus, get the buff on off, because obviously this is our damage phase. So she does have a 2-turn, it seems like this, right? But what happens is we're at the 250 mark. On this turn, we want to go ahead and be able to highlight. This obviously gives us a couple Star Wishes. So since we spent our 100, that gave us 1 whole stack, right? But every other 50% is going to give us another stack. So 150, we got another stack. 200, we got another stack. Since we were at 250, we got 4 stacks. Well, afterwards, you want to go ahead and use a highlight or force off a highlight. This one I would prefer with our Wind, because she is obviously giving us more crit damage. So I'm going to go ahead and use this on her. And now we have everything set up, right? We have all of our buffs looking great. We go ahead, we have a couple of little debuffs on the enemy and stuff. And what we want to look at is our chord, and you can see that we have crit damage, damage bonus, attack percent, obviously all this good stuff, all prepared for this damage, right? Now we want to use our skill 3. The skill 3 is going to spend all of our Star Wish stacks and immediately activate Summer Starscape. Summer Starscape is going to obviously allow us to deal some extra damage off of this as well. But by spending our Star Wish stacks here, we get the 100% extra skill damage, since we're technically spending 3 wish stacks. So we're going to go ahead and use this here. This obviously gives us the extra damage that we need to look forward to. Boom. There's some decent damage there. Of course, this is the tutorial version, so you can tell how that goes. And since we had enough of the stacks, we were getting more Summer Starscape hits afterwards. So it was using all of those leftover Summer Starscapes. And this is where we just keep repeating the whole system over. So this time, obviously you get to kill off, because Morgana's going to kill them anyways. This would be, let's say they're still living, you pop off this again. Probably rotate back to Vishnu, if anything, because I don't think you're going to be using 3 personas with this. I feel like it's only going to be like a 2-turn or 2 personas that you end up using on this one. And you swap to Vishnu, use your AoE hit again, of course, to get more of the highlight gauge back up, and then use your skill 2 with Chord. So it was a lot less complicated. I was just getting mixed up with the tutorial itself, since we did not see anything beforehand. And honestly, that feels a lot more better. That feels a lot better under the fingers than using like 1, 2, 3, because 1, 2, 3 just didn't sit well, and it kept spending our stacks a little bit early. So obviously there was a little bit of a mix up there. But we're going to be building her on stream later on today. I did do a couple card grinding already, but other than that, I have not gotten her up just yet. We're going to get her 4-star weapon all the way up, so we can actually do the damage comparison on that and get some B-roll. And then when I get the 5-star weapon, we'll have that up as well. But for my first impressions of the character based on the tutorial, she's pretty darn good. She's a really good character, and she's pretty cool too, because now that I understand how you get the Star Wish stacks, the follow-up damage is going to be very dangerous with the newer set, I think, and that's going to be pretty darn cool too. But you guys let me know how you feel about her in the comment section down below. And until then, everybody, stay safe, stay sharp, and peace on out.